Good morning, you guys. We're going to do a garden tour. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, and look at the temperature. It's been hot. Okay. So, give you an idea of the garden in its entirety. That's it over there. We'll start over here where the lettuce is, and we'll work our way around across the back and through the beds, just to give you an idea when you're seeing things of like where you are and what's going on. So, stuff is growing because it's been so hot. We've got, these are like a Dikon radish. They're a big radish, and actually I need to pull them up because you can see they're going to seed. So maybe I'll just set you guys down here for a second. And I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, I'll just pull it. Check this out, guys. These are big, meaty radish. Look at that. Cool, eh? And these will store. You can store these. So, yay. Let's do one more. There's only like 3 or 4 of them in here anyway. So, actually, let's pull them out right now. This one's not quite as big. I think this will be a good one. Looks like the first one was the biggest, but that's okay. All right, so now we've got space. Those are lettuce. I think what I'm gonna do with the lettuce from now on, guys, lettuce is great, but it takes up space in the bed. I think I'm gonna do this technique with them. So I'm gonna put them in these kind of pots, like the deep-celled ones, and just let them grow in here. So that is probably what I'm going to do from now on, just to give me a little more room in the beds. All right, let's go check out the climbing beans and stuff over here. So a week ago, like only a week ago, one of these beans had like kind of figured out where the trellis was. And now all of them have. Even this one down here. So that's very exciting, and it's actually at the point where, see, it's reached sort of the top of the trellis. I think I'm gonna have to tie a string and go all the way up to the rooftop, because they will go that high. And it would be really nice to have like the whole wall be covered with like flowers and beans, and so that's probably what I'm gonna have to do this afternoon, because the bean is not gonna wait for me. By tomorrow, it's gonna be up and over the trellis. We did get one more asparagus shoot, so look at this. I don't know if you can even see it. It's so fine. It's like the little stringy guy. There you go. So I've got 2. This one and that one. Which, I mean, this is long term. You don't plant asparagus expecting to eat it in the first year. So maybe next year I'll plant a couple more crowns, and we'll get 4, hopefully. All the arugula came out, and I did plant beans, so just your classic bush beans. The eggplants are looking quite healthy. And the Swiss chard is kind of weird, so I don't know. This happened to me last year too. If I grow it in the fall, it's fine. If I grow it in the summer, it's like I get some kind of blight on my leaves. So I'm gonna have to do a bit of research about that. Or just don't try growing it in the summer, which is too bad because Swiss chard can handle the heat and is an actual heat tolerant vegetable, but c'est la vie. Okay, this bok choy has gone to seed and it needs to come out. So look, it's like not even shiny anymore. Compare that with this. Like, that's the same plant. So these ones I'm gonna leave in for a little bit longer. These ones I'm gonna take out today. So I've got some lettuce, and I did put in some more broccoli, small little broccoli, a purple spreading broccoli, and another broccoli. This is spinach. I'm gonna end up pulling it out. I planted it from seed early on, but look, it's going to seed already. And my spinach gets the same thing that the Swiss chard does. So if I try to grow it now, I get this weird blighty thing. But if I the spinach I grew super early in the spring didn't have that, and the spinach I grow in the fall doesn't have it. Okay, let's take a step back here. So this is kind of a mishmash of stuff. The climbing beans are climbing. They're taller than me now. Like if I put my hand up, I can't even really reach that. Like that's above my head. That is now at least 6 feet. This guy beside it, also super tall. I will be excited for beans. I'll show you. This one has some bean flowers on it. See the red? Those will be opening up probably this week. Well, definitely this week, but probably in the next day or two. So you will be seeing that on these ones soon. Indeterminate tomatoes down here are doing all right. Like everything's got good color, the leaves look healthy. We're getting some flowers. So the tomatoes look pretty good in this bed. Got a sunflower down on the end, and I've got another one in the middle there. I just like to mix and match, you know, have some color, have some height. So those beans, as you can tell, are gonna be taller than the tomatoes. So it just gives us more height and structure and color and food. So yeah, that's what's happening in this bed. Along the back here, the spaghetti squash is taking off. There's a sunflower, the Delectica squash, there's climbing beans, that is a borage down in the front. These are hammy melon. I do have 2 of them in there, and I'm probably gonna have to, like similar to a cucumber, take one out. I just haven't decided which one yet. And sometimes the squirrels make that decision for me, so I'm also kind of holding off. Here's the bean I was showing you earlier. There's lots of red in there. It's just pretty to see color. This sage has gone to flower. I did cut some of the heads off, but I don't think the camera even does it justice, you guys. The like purpley blue of it and like juxtaposed with the red of that guy, like it's just starting to look pretty in here. All right, we have cucumber, beans. So these I planted from seed. Something's snacking on them, and I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it. So as long as it leaves me enough to like get these guys up and running. So those are like their first sort of like little leaves, and these are the true leaves. So as long as I can get the true leaves up, it's okay. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta let things snack. We're part of the ecosystem. All right, more cucumbers across the back. Similar, see there's 2 in here. You plant 3 in a hill. Sometimes one doesn't make it, sometimes 2 don't make it, sometimes the squirrels rip them up. So, and sometimes you have to make the decision and chop one of them. And that's the point we're getting to now. Cucumber, beans down in front, bean and cucumber, climbing bean. This one's stalled out a little bit, so, and see the color of the leaves? See how it's yellowish? So it might actually have too much nitrogen. I don't know. Every year we learn stuff. Ooh, check this out. So I covered 2 of the bee hotel holes, because that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to cover them so that parasites don't get in. And look, there's one more. So that's pretty exciting, you guys. Pollinators are so important. Let's go along the sides, because we've got peas. Look at this. Peas. And more peas. Pea flowers. More pea flowers. So we will be snacking on peas soon. Artivan, the artichoke. It's getting some nice spiky leaves on him. Looking healthy. And because I'm a crazy person, I threw in a climbing bean. So when the peas are done, because it's not going to be much longer, maybe, well, definitely by the end of the month, those peas will be gone. It'll have been too hot. So we'll get whatever we can and then they'll go. So at that point, the climbing beans will hopefully take over. I've got some that I planted from seed at the back and they haven't germinated yet. But always kind of thinking ahead until like succession planning, because it is a small space, so to make the most of it. The potatoes in this pot are looking lovely, nice and big. And then the ones I actually started from seed, like a tiny little seed. So some of them are pretty small in here still. But we'll see what happens. They're just gonna live in this pot. I'll hill them up when they get big enough and maybe we'll get a potato out of it. Yeah, okay. This row, so zucchini. And we're getting some like flowers in there, flower heads. I don't really want them to flower yet. I want them to get a little bit bigger, so I have been nipping some of those flower heads out. Tomato, another zucchini, another tomato, and another zucchini. Check out my potatoes, guys. They're nice and tall. We're getting flower beds on them. Have been fighting something called cucumber beetle on them. It's like a yellow and black bug. So I do keep a jar in the garden. It's labeled in case anyone, I don't know, wonders. But it's handy to have. Actually, what is this guy buzzing around? Oh, I don't think he's anything crazy. It's handy to have your bug jar in the garden because when you see them, you need to just like grab it and go. And in that jar is just a bit of soap, olive oil, and water. And the garlic that I planted, you guys, I wasn't sure if I planted soft neck, hard neck, what it was, because I did it in October. But this week, the scapes appeared. See that? The little twisty bits. So that means I've planted hardneck. So what I'm gonna have to do is get in there and just nip the scapes off. Just cut that part off. And you can still eat the scapes, so it's not a waste. And we cut them off because I want the energy from the plant to go into producing bulbs of garlic, not into producing seeds. All right, onions. Not much to report here, just getting a little bit bigger. Carrots have come up. I've done a little bit of thinning, but not a whole lot. This bed has some exciting stuff though. Look at, that's a broccoli. Hello, broccoli. Okay, got some more brassicas in here. I've got kohlrabi, which is starting to like beef out a little bit. And I've got a cabbage. We have another broccoli and another cabbage. Something has been enjoying this cabbage. Haven't seen what it is though. I've been looking. Some of the other ones had these little green cabbage caterpillars on them, but this guy hasn't had it. But something is definitely eating it. Beside that, we've got our peppers. So these are all bell peppers. This is a red bell pepper. We've got orange bell pepper, orange bell pepper, orange and orange. Okay, and this guy now. Lovage down here at the end. That's like a celery-ish type plant. I've thrown some sunflowers in just because I really like sunflowers and I wanted to have a bit of height and color. We do have a little flower bud in the nasturtiums in here. It's red. There you go. So that's nice. We'll be getting some color in here soon. Broad beans are actually starting to produce beans. So they say at this point you nip out the top. So that's what I did. Nipped out the top of the plant. And yeah, I'll give them maybe 2 to 3 more weeks and then all those broad beans are going to come out and the squash will start taking over. So those are butternut squash. This one's called, no, that's a butternut. This one is orangetti, so it's a spaghetti squash, but it's more of an orange color. And then we've got spaghetti. So yeah. Ooh, this is a turbis, climbing bean. It's the traditional French bean that they use for cassoulet. I can't find any information online about what color the flowers will be, what it will look like. So we're growing it, and it'll be a surprise to everyone. It does look like it's going to be quite a strong producer of beans, because there's all kinds of arms down here that look like they want to take off and climb too. So I'll keep you posted on the French turbis bean. Okay, let's go around to this row. So look at these guys. These are bell peppers, and some of them look terrible. So we did get a really cold Friday 2 weeks ago, and that's what this damage is. But the plants are gonna be fine, because look in here, we're getting close. See all those little baby leaves coming in? So peppers will do that, thank goodness. That means like the roots and the stalk and everything is fine. It's just gonna put out new leaves, which means it's going to be very behind. So I may not end up with very good red peppers, because that plant is gonna take like another month or two just to get back on its feet. This red pepper plant doesn't look too bad, which is funny because they're in the same garden bed, side by side. It's just maybe because this one's right at the end of the row, that's why it got more of the cold that day. Don't know. These are a Hungarian yellow pepper. So I'll show you when they start coming out. They're a little bit different than a bell. They're like a thicker, meatier pepper, and they're a different shape than a bell pepper. Potato. So I had potatoes in this bed last year, and there are 3 that I didn't take out apparently. So there's one there. There is one hiding in amongst the cabbages, and there's one in amongst the bok choy. So we're gonna leave those. I will pull out the greens, and I'll just leave those potatoes, because why not? Extra potatoes. Speaking of greens, look at these. Mizuna, you guys. It's like a furry monster. It's like one of my favorite greens to grow, because you can eat it this way. It's like very mild. It's a lot like a lettuce, but like a watery lettuce. It's got a lot of water content in it. Or you just throw them in a pan and saute them with a bit of butter and garlic, and they're freaking fabulous. Mild tasting, high in vitamins. So yeah, Mizuna, guys. Easy to grow. Doesn't mind the heat a little bit. Doesn't mind the cold. It's actually a really good cold crop. So if you can get your hands on it, that's a really good one to grow. Okay, we're gonna go and check out the tomatoes and like hot pepper area. So I did pick some peppers yesterday. These tomato plants, I am so pleased with them. They look so healthy. Their stalks are so big. They're like putting on really beautiful big flowers. So last year my tomato yield wasn't great. I grew them in the ground, and like I couldn't keep up with the water, and yeah, the yield just wasn't good. So even if I only get a really good yield off these 4 plants, I will be freaking happy. Planted basil down at the bottom. These are the Jimmy Nardello. I picked some of them yesterday, but there are more coming along. And across the back here are the jalapenos, and I've got some jalapenos in here. Let me show you. See those? Woohoo! So that's exciting. Yeah, tomatoes. Look at that. There are actually tomatoes in there. You guys, it's the beginning of June and we have tomatoes. Well, we don't. But we will soon. More Jimmy Nardello peppers. Also getting some peppers on them. Lots of flowers. So we'll be eating peppers shortly. When they're this stage, I do, well, like this is a bit small, but I do try to pick when the plants are still young to encourage it to produce. So yeah, some of the peppers I'm picking aren't like big or red at this point, but I'm picking them anyways. Look at these tomatoes. Cool, eh? And whoops, there's more up top here. So it won't be long. This one is a smaller tomato. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but it's like vernissage, black vernissage. So it's actually a red tomato with kind of like green stripes. And then we've got more tomatoes. The basil's looking really healthy. Okay, the herb post, everything's doing well. Nice lemongrass. More nasturtiums. I don't know why this one's a different color, but it still looks healthy, so we'll take it. We've got the parsley, which has really developed in size in the last couple of days. They were all kind of itty bitty like this, and now look at them. A little heat and a little water. And the basil up here as well is really quite large. So, yeah, you guys, these tomatoes in these pots where it's hot, this has worked. I would do this again. All right. So you guys, this is the garden. I didn't show you the chamomile. Maybe I'll do that really quickly. I have been picking a lot of flower heads off of it. And I did actually have to stake it up. There's a peony trellis around it. But like, look at all those flowers. So, it's great. Picking it, I dry it for tea. So, yeah. That's everything, you guys. Just want to say thank you for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe. And have a great afternoon.